So we are talking about a very exciting topic, something that is very near and dear to us here at Ramsey, something that our entire leadership team has adopted, and we call it desired future. So talk to me about this framework and kind of where it came from and why we started using it.
Yeah, sure. So this framework was really fun to discover and build. And really, it goes back to our leadership spent a lot of time in offsites trying to figure out where are we going? What are we trying to achieve and how are we going to get there? And so we had various facilitators come in and teach us this stuff. And we had, we're good friends with Pat Lencioni and Henry Cloud. And over the years, we've had both of them come in and help us with this. And so we kind of merged two of their frameworks together, things that they both brought to the table. Henry Cloud coined the term desired future, and we really stole a lot of Pat Lencioni's framework in how we actually implement it and how we lay it all out. So we talked to those guys, and they've helped us build this, and they're cool with us kind of, repackaging some of the things they've taught us.
That's awesome. Yeah, great friends of ours. So what is the purpose of desired future? I mean, we didn't have it for many, many years, and we were doing okay. At what point did we go, we need something better, different to figure this out?
Yeah, so a desired future is simply the future you desire. It's that simple, right?
Mind blown. Oh my gosh.
And so you really want to take time to describe what that looks like. And so not everyone knows it. You as the leader, sometimes you think you have it in your head and you think hey, it's really clear in my mind where we're trying to achieve, where we're going, but your team usually doesn't know that. They can't read your mind. And if you've explained it to them once, it probably didn't stick. So writing it down, capturing it in a phrase is incredibly important. And so that's what we encourage you to do is sit down with your leadership team and write out a phrase that describes in one sentence what the future you desire is. And just writing it down has power. It's really powerful to know where you're going, and it's something that people can remember. It's something they can come back to. It's something that you can point at and say, this is the North Star. This is the direction that we're trying to go.
So that sounds real easy. Just write down your vision. But this can be a very difficult process. I know our leadership team, they'll grapple for hours over what the statement should be. How does a leader come up with the statement and then know that this is right?
Yeah. So the framework that we have is really simple. We start with saying, by a certain date, and so maybe by the end of this coming year or by the end of in 2 years, we will. So the first part is by a date. The second part is we will, saying the core thing that you're trying to achieve. And then we say resulting in something else. So the three components to a desired future statement that make it really strong is having a date. So by when, we will, and that's describing what you're going to achieve, what's going to be different in the future. And then resulting in is how things, what are the outcomes that you want to create from the desired future.
So this is good. It kind of harkens back to some of our basic goal setting techniques where we have to have, it has to be specific and measurable. We have to have the result in mind, how we're going to accomplish that. So once we have this statement that we all feel good about as a team, and the truth is maybe not everyone is going to go 100%, this is what I would have said, which it can be hard to come to consensus, right?
Oh, man. This process drives me crazy. It's easy, it's simple, and it takes longer than you expect. For me as a leader, I've done this so many times where I have it in my head and I think it's really clear, but when we try to put pen to paper, it's harder than I expect. And it's also harder and takes more time to get everyone on board. And so for me, what I like to do is instead of doing it by myself, I like to gather the key leaders around me that I need that can really weigh in, they can speak to it, they can really argue different points of it. And so we really get it together. And by them weighing in, they buy into it as well. So that process is going to take a couple hours. Now, you might think hey, half an hour, 45 minutes will knock it out. That's what I typically think going into every time I try to recreate one for the next year. But it's never the case. It always takes a few hours. So give yourself, set expectations clearly for yourself and for your team.
Yeah. So once you've got the statement, we're not done yet. We've got to have some defining objectives of kind of the next step. What does this look like now in tactical terms? So describe how you go about creating those.
Yeah, so within your desired futures, you have your statement, and under that, you have what we call defining objectives. These are the things that are going to help you accomplish the actual statement itself. So this could be anywhere from 3 to 6 key things that you need to drive. Now, there's always a ton of things that have to happen in your business, but these are the key, core, most important things for you to do to focus. And so that's a little bit easier of a process to do is identifying those. It still takes a little bit of time, but it's easier to help identify those. And then once you do identify them, you need to assign owners to them so they could hold them accountable hold that person accountable for driving this across the lane and into fruition.
That's super important to delegate that and go, okay, Daniel, you're owning this. We're all in agreement. So next time we meet, you're going to have an update on how this is doing. Which brings me to the next point. This is a living, breathing dashboard. This isn't, hey, we just do it once a year and put it away in a file somewhere. We are checking back in on this. We're seeing if it's trending up, trending down. How do you measure those things?
Yeah, so we actually do two things every single week with the desired future. In our leadership meeting, every week, our leaders, we review it together and we go over the status of this. Hey, what's the status of this objective? What's the status of the overall? Are we on track or are we off track? We use a red, yellow, green system just to say, hey, is it green? Is it on track? Is it red? Is it off track? Or is it yellow where it's maybe slightly off track? And so we just have a real honest conversation about that. If it's green, no problem. We keep going. If it's red or yellow, the leaders, we look around and say, hey, what do we need to do to get this back on track? Hey, George, can I help you with your objective? What can I do to help you get this back on track? And so we really lean in together. There may be a single owner of an objective, but we're all responsible for it getting across the line. So that's one thing we do is in our leadership meeting, we have those conversations every week. And then also every week with the team at large, we get up in front of our whole team and do a stand-up where we walk through it and we just give them an update. Hey, guys, here's where we're at and here's what we're doing about it. So, hey, guys, we're on track. We're doing great. Things are awesome. Let's celebrate. Let's high five. Letting them know that. And also sometimes things are off track. And it's good just to be open and honest with your team and share that. That insight's really helpful because it'll give them a chance to speak into it, maybe have ideas around it, maybe contribute to getting back on track. I know sometimes as a leader, like it's embarrassing to get up in front of the team and say, hey, guys, we're not winning or we're off track. But it's really powerful if you can do that and be just real and open and honest with your team of where you're at.